Hi, we're live in my kitchen. This is Michelle doing a little video here for Which Way Magazine, and normally we have to wait a few minutes for people to arrive. So let's wait a minute. I'm going to have a little sippy sip. Hi, I see people showing up right now. So exciting. We're going to make some cool stuff today. I decided that this month we're going to do some how-tos. So today we're going to be making a lavender simple syrup for Litha, or summer solstice, that, sorry, something in my throat, that we're going to be, hi Lucy, we're going to be using this simple syrup that we're going to make in about 10 days when I come back to do my next video. And we're also going to make a summer solstice incense, and I'm going to be super honest with you guys. I have not used this process before, so we're going to do it together for the first time. Hello, is it Zena or Zena? Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming. So we're going to kind of do both at once, and I hope that that's not very confusing. So we're going to start, the first thing we're going to do is just, I have about 2 cups of water. Now you have some options for this water. Mine is just filtered water that we purify here. You could absolutely, if you want to do an extra Litha punch, you could use sun water that's been out and blessed by the sun. You could go for kind of a complimentary thing and use moon water, which I almost did, especially since we've got this great moon energy going on right now. But since Litha is such a sun-centric day, I thought we would keep it solar and abstain from the moon, which is hard for me because I love it. You can't hear me. Can anybody else hear me? Jody says she can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? You can't? Anybody? Let's try again. Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me? Let's see. Yes. Okay. So some people can hear me. I'm sorry for those of you who can't, but yay! I'm going to keep going. I'm sorry for the person who cannot hear me. Thank you guys for giving me the feedback. So the first thing we're going to do, and actually before I do that, I want to talk about one little thing. I am a kitchen witch, hence we're in my kitchen. But so I am pretty practical, and for me, there is magic in the mundane. So I don't have special, I have a few, but I don't have special equipment that I use. So I'm just using my regular measuring cup. I'll be using my regular pans and whatnot. If that is not your practice, then by all means, you can just take this, and then if you're a bit more ceremonial about it or a bit more formal, or if you have your own special tools, then do that. So let's say, oh, thank you so much, you guys. And hello, Steve in the Rocky Mountains. Okay. So I'm just going to take my water over to my stove, and we're just going to get it, you just want it just about boiling. So if I don't get back to this in a minute or two, somebody remind me, because I will forget, because I'm a total space cadet. And the only things that we're going to need for the rest of that is some lavender. This happens to be lavender that I harvested from my own plants last year. I think fresh lavender would also work, but this, I wanted to use mine. And then I'm going to use about, this is half of a quarter cup. I'm bad at math. So it's 1/8 of a cup of sugar. Just a little sugar to give it a little sweetness and that syrupy goodness. So I'm going to set this over here while we wait for the water to boil. And I know summer solstice is, it's a big one, right? And you wouldn't know it if you're here in Orange County because it's all gray and cloudy here. It's not very summery. But it is on June 21st this year, if you don't know. It kind of goes between the 20th and the 22nd, depending on, I don't even know what it depends on. I guess, well, the Earth and the rotation. And I just look at my dwellings calendar and it tells me. So it's going to be on the 21st. And this is the day that we're marking when the sun is in our sky the longest. It is, so we're celebrating the sun. It's a very masculine-centered holiday, although there's definitely a feminine element. Hang on, I want to check this. Janet, you're so funny. Mathematically impaired kitchen witches unite. That's us! Welcome to the club. And Heather, yeah, you definitely want to make sure that anything that you're ever using is going to be edible. So the lavender is edible and it is safe and it is non-GMO and organic. You want to make sure if you're going to be ingesting your herbs, make sure they're organic so you're not taking any of those toxic chemicals into your body. If you are, while we wait for the water to heat, it's almost ready. This is also, if you're of the Fae faith, this is a particularly important day for you. I am not, although I love the fairies and the Fae. It's not my specialty, it's not my area. Kiki probably knows more about that than I do. I'm sure you guys all watch Kiki's videos because she's amazing. Speaking of videos, you probably know this by now, but this video will be up for 2 days, 48 hours, and then it goes into our subscribers vault on the website, which you, if you're a subscriber, and why wouldn't you be? If you're a subscriber, you can go and watch and review and take your notes and whatnot. The magazine is super, I don't think it's cost prohibitive. I think it's really, cheap isn't the right word. It's a great value. And it is a wonderful way to support our community and all the great things that we're able to do for the community because of our subscribers. These videos are one of those things. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have not subscribed after this video, please go subscribe because it's awesome and that way we can keep doing this. Oh, and Shay, thank you so much. You're always so nice. Okay, and so a couple more things. Let's check our water. Almost ready. For Litha or summer solstice, whatever you want to call it, the traditional colors would be red and orange to decorate, which are representing the sun. And you can, we're going to go over in a little bit some of the ways that you can celebrate. I want to get this stuff out of the way. But you know, sunflowers are a great thing. I have sunflowers on my altar right now, and I will continue to do so for a while. I'm looking at my notes, but I'm so excited to make stuff. And I have you guys in my kitchen. This is really neat for me. Okay, so, you know, we have the full moon coming tomorrow. So you're probably going to be charging some crystals and maybe making some moon water. But I also want to suggest that when summer solstice comes, you know, you can bring that masculine, hot, heat, sun energy into things as well. So you can charge water with the sun. You can charge jewelry or crystals. I mean, it's a different kind of energy. So it depends on what you're trying to promote and bring into your life. And it's also a great day for picnics. I think everybody should go on a picnic on summer solstice. So just some ideas about ways to celebrate. I know that a lot of our viewers, not all, but a lot of them are fairly new to their practice and are always looking for suggestions. So I'm just trying to be a little helpful for you. I think I hear boiling. We are boiling. So all we're going to do is I'm going to take this here lavender. Oh my God, you guys, it smells so good. And we're going to put it into the water. This is roughly 2 cups of water to 1 cup of lavender. We're going to put that in. I'm going to put the sugar in. We're going to give it a little stir or rooney. Can you see? You guys can still see me. Okay. And we're just going to let this do its thing. You just want to make sure that all that sugar doesn't settle to the bottom. You definitely don't want this to candy. Okay. We're going to let that go for about 3 minutes. I'm going to turn my heat down so it doesn't boil over. Just going to let that do its thing for a minute. Let me see. Terry, thank you. I love you right back. A picnic. Oh, Kelly with your baby witchling. I think that's so sweet. And Dana, thank you. You guys are so good to me. Okay, let's move on while that's happening. We're going to start on our incense. Has anybody ever made their own incense before? I have made bits and pieces, but I've never done one quite this, it's not complex, but varied. We'll call it that. Hi, Brittany. Oh, and Heather asked how much sugar. So I did about 1/8 of a cup of sugar. The recipe that I was following said a dash, but I know my children and they're going to want a little more sugary punch than that. So I added in some extra and I wanted to get it good and syrupy for them. Okay, so I see some of you have made your own incense. I have quite a variety here. I'm going to move my camera for a second just so I can show you what we're working with. There we go. So I've got, this is some white sage that I harvested from a local plant here. And these are dried rose petals. I've got a little pine resin up here. This is some mint. I've got, this is a fern leaf yarrow. I've got some traditional local sagebrush, rosemary from my garden. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what these are. If anybody can tell me what this plant is, I've been trying to figure it out. It smells so good. They're usually like a bright purple, and I love them so much. They smell amazing, and they're local, and nobody can tell me what they are, but I've used them to burn before, so they're going to be safe. And then I have some basil from my garden. And as you can see, some of these are, whoa, we almost dropped each other. Some of them are fresh, and some of them are already dried, and that's not really going to be a big deal, especially because we're not going to be using this for a couple weeks, so they're going to have time. If you are a super traditional witch, you probably have a bowline that you would want to use for this, but I'm just using a kitchen knife and kitchen shears. And I will be also using, this is very special to me. So I don't have a lot of straight up magical tools. This is one of them. However, this was my great grandmother's mortar and pestle. And even the bottom is like bowed out because she used it so much. It sat on in my father's home for many years. And when he passed away on June 21st last year, I brought this home. So in fact, I'm going to get a little personal. It'll be on June 21st, summer solstice will be the anniversary of my father's passing 1 year. And one of the things that I am incorporating into this, one of the things I'm incorporating into this incense, this fern leaf yarrow, I actually gathered at his home that week while I was there. So I feel like incorporating that into this incense is going to bring maybe some healing and some release for me. So that's good. And let me see. Karina said it looks like a type of lavender. I think it might be a type of lavender, but I have tried everything and I can't find it anywhere. Patty, could it be heather? I've never seen heather, so I don't know. I put a picture up on my Instagram stories yesterday asking, and still nobody could identify it, but it smells, even now dried, it's just amazing. Let's go check our lavender. Okay, so the color has become kind of like a rosy pink color. It's certainly not purple. Now, the next thing we're supposed to do is to let it cool for 10 minutes, and then we'll strain it, and we'll see how it goes. So back to our incense. Oh, thank you, Janet. I appreciate that. So for some of the ones like the fresh herbs, I'm going to go ahead and use a knife to chop it up very finely, and then I'm probably going to leave it out to dry, so we may not finish this process today. And for others, we're going to use the mortar and pestle. I also have this other really handy herb grinder. I don't know if you guys have seen these. You put it in there and then you just, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to start, I think, with the sage. So we're going to try this guy out first. This is new for me because generally when I burn things, I just burn them whole. I don't go through the process like this. So I just put some, we're just trying it out. I really don't know how this is going to work, guys. Then you put the lid on and then you grind. And you grind. Oh, pretty nice. I see you guys having a conversation about somebody's child is ill, and I'm very, very sorry to hear that. I must have missed the original post. Laura, the mystery. It has a lavender kind of aroma to it. And it's not, see, I had a friend who thought it was like a kind of sage. I had other friends who think that it's lavender. Don't we have any botanists in the house who can just tell me what this stinking flower is? I love it so much. Okay, so let me get back to what I'm doing. I'm just using a little dish, like a kitchen dish, that's going to have a top that I can seal on it. So just dump the herbs in after you grind them. That worked out okay, but I feel like it could do better. It could be because this sage isn't all the way dried. Let's do it. It's pretty fun though. Sandra, you think it's lavender? It's got to be some kind of lavender, right? I just don't know. Oh, and another thing, our syrup is hissing, which is really weird. These are like the stalks from some of the herbs, which I'm not going to throw away. I'll either break them up and put them in the incense, or I'll burn them in my ceremonial fire on summer solstice. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is take these, maybe lavender. Hi, Margot. Mwah! And I'm going to put them in my mortar and pestle, and we're just going to give them a good little grind. Nothing makes me feel witchier than grinding herbs. I love it so much. Pink lavender, that's a thing, Debbie? I've never heard of pink lavender. Jennifer says it's lavender. It does smell amazing. I'm happy to believe that it's lavender. I've never seen lavender quite like this. It's such a beautiful plant. I also love the sounds that my mortar and pestle make. It's very bell-like. So I like to keep my stuff kind of chunky. You could be here for quite a while if you want to get like a really fine grind on it. So we're going to say this is lavender going into the incense mix. Works for me. And if you want to be a really modern witch, instead of doing it this way, you can use like a coffee bean grinder. One of my very good witchy friends does that, and it's far more effective, but it's less labor intensive. And I feel like, at least for me, the effort that I put into my magics is where the magic comes from. So that's just mine. Lavender comes in several different colors, purple, pink, and white, as well as edible and non-edible. It is an amazing plant. Oh, you guys are so great. Hello, Jess from Australia. Okay, so there's that. Ground up. Put it in there. Okay, so Michelle says she grows 16 different kinds of lavender, but it doesn't look like lavender. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find it out. Oh, in South Africa, it is Margaret Gardner lavender. Oh, this is really great. You guys are being so helpful. I've been trying to figure this out for a year. Okay, so next I'm gonna work with this basil. Now the basil is super fresh, so instead of grinding it, I'm just gonna chop it up really, really finely. When you're all done with your wonderful summer solstice incense, you'll be able to store it for about 3 months. So really for the summer period. If you haven't burned it by the end of summer, I guess maybe just burn it in a big fire, because it's a very summer seasonal kind of thing, and it might lose some of its potency. And this is also the kind of incense that you would sprinkle on top of one of those little charcoal discs. So if you don't have one of those and you want to do this, you're probably going to need to get one. I get mine on Amazon. They're super cheap. Okay, so the basil is done. Plop it in with that. And then we have some pine resin. And fortunately for me, my pine resin is already pretty small. What I love, this one was actually harvested. I bought it on Etsy off somebody's home. They're just their land. So it has like little bits of like bark and other what they described as impurities, but I find as bonuses. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Hello, Idaho and Mexico in the house. We're so international. This is grinding up beautifully. Actually, better than I thought. One thing, if you decide to put pine resin into your incense, you should know pine resin gets real, real smoky. So don't say I didn't warn you. Look at that, got really good and powdery. And then let's move on to our rose petals. I think rose petals are so undervalued. People only associate them with love, which is great. I mean, if I were a flower, that's probably what I would want to be associated with. But they have so many other great things to offer us. Dun, 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 dun. You guys love it? Are you bored? Are you guys okay with this? I thought it'd be fun to do together. I don't know why, but our lavender syrup keeps hissing and it's not on. Texas and Miami and Alaska, South Carolina. What a wonderful community we have the opportunity to create. Every time I'm here with you guys, I can't help but think how fortunate I am to get to interact with so many of you, and you're all so wonderful. Ooh, Heather, Granny Magic in the house. I am fascinated by Granny Magic. I love that. Dan, I am working this grinder. Yes, I am. Okay. And I love that this was my great-grandmother's, and then it was my grandmother's, and then it was my father's, and now it's mine. I think that's very special. Spain and Canada. Buenos Aires. Oh my gosh. All right. honest, I kind of want this a little bit finer, but I think it'll work. Maybe just for funsies, let's try it in this guy again. This is new to me, so we're experimenting. Also, I'm making a huge mess. Aw, hugs and kisses from Chile. Like we're doing like a roll call right now. I love it. Oh yeah, so much better in this one. Hang on, I don't want to spill. But this got way better once I put it in this. This is a handy little grinder. Okay, toss that in. Okay. Oh, Laura, thanks. Strong is not a word that I would necessarily use. Okay, so now we're gonna do, I've got some thyme. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So my thyme is fresh, and the great thing is that thyme, oh, show us the grinder. My little hand grinder. So it's just, the thyme is in there. Haha. It just has these little like medievally spikes on it, and you put the herbs in there, close it, and then yes, Dan, this grinder has another intention, but this is what I use it for. Okay, so one of the cool things about thyme is since the leaves are so small, I don't really feel like I need to do much other than pluck them off of the stems, which will then go into my stem pile, and just toss it in there. It is a little tedious, not gonna lie. It might have been wise if I had chosen to do this before we got together, but I really wanted, I was gonna do like, you know, like on cooking shows when they have things already made, but then they walk you through the process. I was gonna do that, but this seemed more fun. Okay, so I won't do the whole thing, although it's coming off really nicely. And again, I know not everybody has the opportunity or the space to have a garden or the time to dedicate to it, but many of, actually, almost everything that we're putting in here either came from my garden or I gathered myself. Not necessary, but for me personally, especially because I have kind of an affinity for plants, I feel that if I've had a relationship with the plant before I use it, it really can lend, maybe potency is the word. Okay, so then we have our rosemary, which if it were dry, I would grind it, but I just plucked it off the plant this morning. And, oh, that's our syrup. I have been told, and you guys might be smarter than me, that perhaps the best time to gather herbs is in the morning before the sun has had a chance to kind of leak out some of those essential oils. Hi, Patty. Oh, thank you. Is it Junior? That's a beautiful name. Let's pause on the incense and go check our simple syrup. Holy heck, you guys, it smells so good. So what we're gonna do, first we're gonna go in my dishwasher and get the strainer that I forgot to get. So loud, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're gonna strain this, and I'm just gonna strain it back into my measuring cup, and let's hope that I don't spill. This can store for a couple of months, but I'm just gonna keep it on hand until the next time we all meet. We're gonna make another little something with it for solstice. And this made quite a bit. So I strained it out. I'm going to just use a spoon to press out the last little bits of the liquid. You can discard the plant matter or you can compost it if you have the opportunity to do that. And here it is. Ooh. Oh my God, I wish we had smell-o-vision, you guys. Okay, so I will then later put this in a jar once it's cool with the lid, put it in the fridge until we meet again. Tracy, it is a lavender simple syrup that we're going to use in a couple weeks to make a special drink for summer solstice. That was lavender. I guess some people probably, yeah, you guys weren't here. It's if you go back to the beginning of the video, you can find out what we were doing. And yes, I think somebody said, yeah, I'm going to keep it in the fridge just to, really just to keep it out of my children's hands, but that's it. Okay. So we were on our rosemary, so I want to finish chopping that up. and then we'll get it in there. Because I have fresh stuff in here, I'm probably not going to cover this right away because I want everything else to dry out. And then we'll add in, I've got the sagebrush here, which is also, it should be dry because I picked it a while ago, but it's still pretty soft. So I'm going to chop that up, put it in, and then I'll work on my yarrow and my mint. I think, and that is, most of it. I have a bit more sage. You can, again, you can always look into what different herbs you want to invite into this, but just, I made a couple notes for you to make it easy. So when you're celebrating summer solstice, it's big for fruits and vegetables, so it's a great time to make a big salad. Some of the plants that, like correspondences, you know, we have in Witcheriness, there are correspondences. So for summer solstice, a few of the plants that are linked to it would be honeysuckle, rose, chamomile, lavender, yarrow, daisies, vervain, mugwort, and lemon balm. That's just some. There's plenty more. And for wood, it would be oak. So if you could get some oak to burn that night for your fire, even better. But really, fire is fire. And then for incense, pine, myrrh, lemon, rose, and lavender are all kinds. So that's a lot of the plants that I chose to put into this incense because they're going to correspond with summer solstice. And for now, my darlings, I believe that's it. This is going to take me a while, so I'll probably share it on my Instagram. If you follow me, it's @GlitterInTheDirt. You guys probably all know that, @GlitterInTheDirt. When I'm finished, I will post a picture on there, and then I'll share it again the next time I come to so you guys can see it completed, because I do have to go right now. I'm so sorry. Oh, Dawn, look at us, linked up sister witches. I love that. And all right, so that's it, you guys. I'm going to go right now. Thank you so much for being with me. Go subscribe to the magazine if you are not currently subscribed. I will be back in about, I think, 10 days, and we'll work on our next project. Please feel free to reach out to me. The only social media I use is Instagram, so it's @GlitterInTheDirt. You can always send comments or questions here to the magazine. I try to go through and answer them when I can. Everybody have a wonderful day. I'm sending you so much love and light and laughter, and thanks for being with me. It really means a lot to me that you guys show up to do this with me. Mwah! Bye, everybody.